The size of the idea, I believe, does not matter. I think it's relative. You think it's big, but God gave it to you because He equipped you to make it happen. Welcome to the Creators Loft podcast, the space for creatives who aren't just dreamers, but doers, where storytelling, faith, and creativity meet. Here we dive deep into the minds of artists, entrepreneurs, thinkers who are changing the world with their art. I'm your host, Justice. Let's get into the conversation. Welcome back to the Creators Loft podcast. I'm so excited that you guys have returned for episode numero dos. It has been a very interesting road so far in the production behind this podcast. I'm definitely going to get into that on a whole different episode, but just know this one woman show, one woman plus the spirit of God, okay? We're doing it. We're working it out. We're figuring it out. We're learning as we go, and we are trying our best to serve the people. Anyway, I have notes today. So if you see me looking down, if you're watching the visual and you see me looking down, that's why. So for today's episode, I really want to talk about your ideas. What ideas, you may ask? The ideas that are sitting in your notes, that are sitting in old journals, that are being shared amongst the group chat, that are on your Google Drive, those ideas. I want to talk about why those ideas have not manifested themselves into actual real life, why we haven't acted on the ideas that we have, and how we can fix that, how we can solve that. Because if you're anything like myself, you have notes on notes on notes of ideas, so many ideas, and so much so that you haven't actually acted on the ideas that you have because one, there's so many, or two, you're overthinking, overanalyzing the ideas. But we're going to get into all of that. So first I want to go into what are the things that are holding us back from creating? And the first thing I want to talk about is self-doubt and comparison. And those are the biggies. Them two, they rock together too. Like you start doubting yourself be- because or in result of comparing yourself to someone else. And it it is it can be very crippling to see you, flaws and all, and compare what you're doing, what you're producing, what you're creating to what someone has already created. For an example, I do this a lot. I look at where I am in photography and I aspire to be like some of the creators I follow. And when I say aspire to be like them, I'm mainly talking about their skill level. Like I want to be able to produce some of the dope things that I've seen them produce. And but what happens is when I'm comparing myself, I am also in the same breath doubting my ability to do the thing that I see them doing. And it's only because I can see behind the curtain on my end. I can see the things that I need to learn more about. I can see the things that I haven't fully cultivated and developed. I can see my mistakes. I can see all of that, but I can't see that for them. So I'm comparing also what I can see is that I am on year 2 of doing this thing, but they may be on year 10 of doing this thing. And so when I'm comparing, I'm not taking any of that in consideration. I'm just saying, this is where justice is and this is where this person is. And it isn't fair to me or my ideas to compare them to other people. And so if you find yourself in comparison and thinking, and then having the thought that this person is better than me, that's where the problem is. You know, it's one thing to say like, wow, they're so skillful. They can do this technique and I want to learn how to do this technique, or they were able to get this opportunity. I would love to get opportunities like that. But the moment that you say to yourself, this person is better than me, this person has better ideas than me, this person, in your mind, you think this person has something that you don't have. And then you kind of change courses from getting better at your craft to trying to be like this person, to be what this person is. And Then we're talking about something completely different. We're not talking about ideas and creativity. We're comparing who we are to who this person is. And that's dangerous because you are uniquely you and were created to do the thing that you were created to do that that person wasn't. And so your comparison is actually not serving you or your creativity because it's hindering you because you think and believe now, because now you'll start to act out of the belief that this person's better than me. They have something I don't have. And if I can't get it from them, I can't be whatever it is that you aspire to be. And that's so far from the truth. So we're gonna deal with that too. We're not gonna do that no more. We're not gonna sit here and believe that again, like we talked about in the last episode, that creativity is out there. That this skill and this elusive idea of creativity that I have to grab and take hold of is out there. That's a lie. It's in here. So what you got to do is tap in, right? And we talked about that last week, so we're not gonna get into that. The second thing that's holding us back, y'all, and this could just be me. So listen, this could just be your girl, overwhelmed by the size of the idea. So remember how I said these ideas are existing in your notes and things? You could be in prayer, you could be journaling, you could be on your way to work, and God will drop an idea in your spirit, and then you'll say to yourself, who gonna do that? Who, me? You want me to do this? You want me to create this? And like, and don't get me wrong, you actually may be excited about the idea. Like, wow, like the idea in and of itself is great. I'm gonna share this example, and I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. I'm gonna try to take out some details so like to protect her. But um one of my friends, she had this idea. It was an extension of something she was already doing. It was a great idea. She was so excited about the idea. She was so passionate. Like homegirl was like, I can literally tangibly see this thing coming to pass. And but so much so, and the idea felt so big to her, so grand. And not big like she couldn't reach it, but just like, I know that this idea is gonna take what I'm doing here to the next level. And that can be intimidating. And so much so that you don't even pursue the idea. And ultimately, we get these big ideas and we automatically like discount ourselves from being the person to produce the thing. Now we're saying like, oh, that can't be me. God, that's a great idea. Actually, let me go share this idea with someone else because in a way, you're telling me that I can be the first person to do this, or I can create something that's never been created before. Or yeah, like it feels so overwhelmingly big that you're like, it can't be me. And I relate. I relate to that wholeheartedly because I have some ideas that I still haven't acted on because they feel so big. But here's the thing with that. The size of the idea, I believe, does not matter. I think it's relative. You think it's big, but God gave it to you because he equipped you to make it happen. And so the size of the idea isn't even in his consideration when he's giving it to you. Like he's not like, oh, this is big. I'm gonna give it to this person because I know this person can handle a big idea. More or less like, this is the idea that I want to come forth in the earth and I want to do it through you. Yes or no? Are you willing to take on, the challenge? And we know that like big or small, any idea, any creative endeavor that we pursue is not going to be easy. Anything good isn't easy, it's got to come with its challenges, but it does not mean that you are ill-equipped to make it happen, right? And so let's move on to the third thing that's holding us back from pursuing our ideas and creating perfectionism. Perfectionism. And I even added on here perfectionism and fear of messy action. This one, this one here specifically is for justice. It's for Justice Simone Newkirk, okay? Full government. It's for me. Why? Because um I I struggle with perfectionism. So here is the trap of perfectionism, because when you want something to be perfect, but understand that you yourself is not perfect and that you're serving a perfect God, it's as if you are aiming for a target that is literally not there. Like, picture this. You have arrows and you're aiming at a target, but there is literally no target in front of you. So you are shooting arrows. Ping, ping. And guess why you're missing every single time? Because there's no target there. Because you're not perfect. And what you produced won't be perfect. And that isn't the goal. The goal isn't to be perfect. But somewhere along the lines, we have developed this mindset that, whatever I'm creating, it has to be perfect. It has to be, beautifully aligned and aesthetically pleasing and have all the things. And listen, all it does is keep you from producing and creating and keep the idea up here and not right here. And again, not in obedience to the idea being given to you by God. You're not obeying by trying to make it perfect and make it, you know? So, and the part about fear of messy action is another thing us fellow creatives struggle with is we don't want to learn out loud. We don't want to create in front of people where I'm still learning a thing or I'm still developing a thing or, showing me in process of creating, in process of learning because it makes us look amateur. It makes us look like we're not the expert in the room. Like we don't know what we're doing. Half the time, us creatives, let's be honest, we don't know what we're doing. I'ma just be real. Like half the time, I will get an idea and I'm like, Lord, you're gonna have to help me follow through because I don't know what I'm doing. And it speaks to the depend. I need you. I need you, God, I need to collaborate with you in order for this idea to come to pass, in order for me to serve people with my gift, in order for me to create the thing I'm trying to create. I need you. And so me being afraid to mess up in front of people is you being afraid to just be human, to just be you, to just um show the process of the cutting and um the gluing and the pasting and just like but what's interesting for me, I thoroughly enjoy seeing the behind the scenes of things. I like seeing all it took to create this beautiful thing. Everything that went in it, all the resources you had to pull, all the challenges you had to face and overcome in order to now produce the final result that we all get to see and enjoy. I thoroughly enjoy a behind the scenes, but there won't be any behind the scenes if you don't start creating out loud. If you don't start producing your ideas, even if they're not all the way flushed out and you have all of the things you think you need in order to start. Here's the truth. I'm gonna drop a truth right in the middle. Um, you have everything you need to get started. Everything you need, you have already. You are already equipped with everything you need to get started, at least. Okay? You don't fall for the trap and the lie that you need to pull on all of these different things, or you need to buy the newest thing, or you need to be mentored by the most famous person in order to create the thing that you wish to create. So I'm gonna just say that. Another thing that's holding us back from creating our ideas and producing the work that we wish to see in the world, right, is not prioritizing our creative projects. On the list of priorities, on the list of to-dos, creativity is at the bottom. Creating is at the bottom, And I get it. I am a mom. I am a full-time employee. I have responsibilities and things that I have to do, and I have had to be intentional with making sure that creativity is at the top of that list. Why? Because it's something I value. It's something that I believe I was called to do. And if I don't do those things, then I already feel like crap. Like, if you think about, like, so say you're creating, right? And you feel good. Like, if creating, like, again, whatever your outlet is, whatever your in creative endeavor is, whatever your creative gift is, if you enjoy doing that thing, you feel good, it fulfills you, it brings you joy, you feel more connected to God, all of the things, right? Why are we putting it at the bottom of the list? You know, we enjoy it. We like it. We want to do it. Why is that at the bottom of the list? Why is that not at the top of the list? Why is that not something that we want to say, I want to do this more? Consistency also doesn't mean every single day. It just means I am doing it at a at the same rate. So if I say every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to create, or I'm going to work on the project, or I'm going to record the song, or I'm going to write, the book, start writing the book. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever days I just said, what those days, those are gonna be my creating days. I'm gonna be consistent with that schedule. I'm gonna be consistent with doing those things because I wanna prioritize the things that I value, that are important to me, that I say that are important to me. So if creating is important to you, which all my listeners, I believe creativity and creating is important to you, then it should be at the top of the list. I'm not saying top meaning number 1, but it should be something that you're doing, actively doing, because the book isn't gonna write itself. The music is not gonna record itself, and it's gonna stay in the notes, stay in up here, it's gonna stay, in journals until you decide to prioritize picking an idea and going for it fully. So, we've talked about a lot of the things that are holding us back. Let's now talk about a solution. You're all probably like, "Just, okay, I've experienced 4 out of 4 of those things. How can we start manifesting those ideas? How can we start creating those ideas and making those ideas happen, right?" Well, first I want you to, if you're enjoying this episode so far, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving us a review so more creatives like you find the show. Thanks for your support. Let's get back to the episode. Confront some of those negative thoughts. And before actually confronting the thoughts, I want you to be still enough to hear what you're thinking when it comes to your ideas, right? The things you want to produce. Say you have an idea for a book. Let's just go with this book idea. You have an idea for a book. But immediately you think to yourself, no one's going to read that book. Why should I even write it? No one's going to read that book. First of all, be still enough to hear that voice and ask yourself, is that actually true? That no one's going to read that book? Also, how do you know that? How do you know no one's going to read your book, listen to your music, buy your art, listen to your podcast? You don't know. You have no idea if someone will or not. And so to just believe that if I'm not doing this thing in order to get this result, that goes back to what I said last week on kind of detaching yourself from the result of you creating the thing. I'm not looking for the validation for people to like, for people to share. What I'm looking for is for the person it's supposed to help, they receive it and get helped by it. In any way that looks. Help looks different in all types of shapes and forms. So I'm not saying like it has to be a specific thing, but like the book doesn't have to be deep. It can be a children's book. It can be whatever it is. Its intention is to serve, to help. And so when you're thinking about your ideas and the negative thoughts start coming in, talk back to them thoughts. Say, listen, if nobody reads this book, my mama gonna read this book. My siblings, my best friend, like they're gonna read this book, they're gonna enjoy this book, and they're gonna see that, listen, I said I'm gonna write it and I wrote it. If it helps one person and that person's my mama, it served its purpose. Especially if you've gotten the idea from God. Like if you know what I'm saying? Like if you are locked in and you are creatively collaborating with God, that idea has a purpose. It has a purpose. So before you discount it out, act on it. Okay? And speaking of act on it, that's the next thing. Another way we can make things happen is we are going to start taking action on our ideas. We're going to close the gap between thinking about the idea, researching the idea, and start working on the idea. We're going to close that gap. That shouldn't be a 5-year, 3-year, 10-year span, right? I should get the idea, research whatever I need to research, while learning, still doing the thing. For an example, say you want to start a YouTube channel. There's a plethora of information out there on how to start a YouTube channel, but you watch one. How to start a YouTube channel. Just pick one. Pick one. If it's a good video, it's going to tell you what steps to do. After that video and you've written down what steps to do, now we have to do step 1. We're not going to watch another video and then another video because this video say you need to have an email list. So let me go figure out how to create an email list and look up a video on how to create an email list. But then this video says you need to have, a social media platform. So let me look up step 1. We're going to do step 1. We're going to do the thing. We're going to start taking messy action to get yourself from the analysis paralysis where you're just researching. You're just sitting stagnant in your ideas. We're going to start making things happen, right? We're going to start making things happen. We're going to commit to that. And giving your ideas a chance to grow, giving your ideas permission to flourish. Because again, we're not counting out the seeds that God has given us. These ideas are like seeds. You researching, that's like watering the seed. You taking action, watering the seed. We have no idea what the seed is going to produce, but we're going to do what we're responsible for, right? And obey. Take that seed, that idea, plant it in the ground, water it daily, water it and basically create it consistently. And then see what is produced out of that. What fruit comes from that seed. That's it. That's the process. That's what you do. But you got to take messy action. You got to get in the dirt. You got to dig. You got to show people, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something. Because here's the thing that I've learned when you don't know what you're doing, but you decide to do anyway. As you're doing the thing, 1, you're learning. And then 2, you're making all of your mistakes up front. So when you get to level 5, 6, 7, I've already made all those same mistakes. I've already made those mistakes before. So now I know what I'm doing. Now I know how to record the videos. Now I know how to edit the videos. Now I know how to post the videos, So make your mistakes quickly and make them up front. There is a fly. Why is there a fly? Okay. And then speaking of planting, last but certainly not least, plant positive thoughts, more empowering thoughts that will produce results that serve you. For an example, it doesn't help you to think that no one's going to read your book, but it does help you to believe, I wonder who this book could help. I wonder who God's going to bless through my words, through my testimony, through my story. I wonder what God's going to do with this seed. Think of a thought that's going to empower you to take action, to create, to continue on. Because the more you have these negative thoughts and you let them simmer, you'll get discouraged. And then you find yourself stagnant and not creating at all, not doing the thing that God designed you to do, period. Okay? So we're not going to focus on thoughts that, make us feel small and feel inadequate and feel like we can't do the thing. We're going to focus on thoughts that influences us to act on creative ideas. Period. So it's not enough to just stop thinking negative thoughts or stop thinking about whatever you're thinking about. It's more so, how can I replace these thoughts with something that's actually true? What's true? You are made in the image of God. You are creative by nature, by design. You are creative. You are given a gift before you were brought here from God. God has equipped you with the gift and the ability to create with that gift. Your responsibility, my responsibility is to cultivate it, work it, get better with our slingshot, and then go out there and share that gift with someone else. Serve others with our gift. That's it. It's that simple. I mean, I say simple, but I get it. I get that it's not always simple. But I hope that this episode has helped you see that, one, your ideas deserve a chance, and to no longer continue to discount yourself and count yourself out. We're not counting ourselves out anymore. We're not counting ourselves out and our ideas out anymore. We're going to fully step wholeheartedly in each of the things, each of the seeds, each of the ideas that God has given us, because we don't know where they're going to end up. So I hope this episode helped you. And practically, I hope that you will leave this episode and go look it through your notes and just pick an idea. Pick an idea that you're going to start pursuing, that you're going to start creating, that you're going to start doing. It can be an idea from 5 years ago, 2 years ago. This podcast was an idea from 3 years ago. So it's never too late. And if you're feeling froggy, go ahead and leave a comment of the idea. You know what? Say, I had an idea to write a book on my testimony. Okay, great. So we can all encourage each other and encourage each other to continue to pursue the ideas that God has given us. So thank you guys so much for listening, for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Peace. Thanks for tuning into the Creators Loft podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, consider subscribing to the channel or leaving us a review. Your support helps me reach more creatives like you.